in other games that are good, I think.
We think.
Wait, what are you talking about? I've totally forgotten.
A Plague Tale
yeah.
Requiem. So let me just pull up the footage.
Yeah, we haven't finished this because this came out on Tuesday.
Yeah, so
but I think we've both played like the opening hour.
Yeah, so the game. Yeah, sorry, I'm repeating it, but yeah, the game came out on Tuesday. Remember, it's thick review season. There's a lot to play, so we haven't.
It's on Game Pass, so
yeah, also Game Pass. But we haven't quite sunk our teeth into this, but we both have played the opening hour just to at least see what this game looks like. And having only just recently played A Plague Tale: Innocence, I want to see where the story goes. Because I
also only played it earlier this year.
So shocking that game. Not shocking, but surprised I stepped on it. Really good game. Came out in 2019, I think.
That game got a real second wind recently. Like people were just like, oh, this game's actually fucking great.
Yeah. So I mean, even then, when that game came out, again, like I played it recently, but I was like, this game looks good. It plays well. It's a great story. I cannot believe this is made by an indie-ish studio. So also the way it ended didn't have a definitive this is the end of the saga. It is like, where do they go from here? And so I was quite curious to see where it picks up. And the first thing that crossed my mind when I started this game is, holy shit, it is gorgeous. Like this is unnecessary levels of detail that I did not expect from not a AAA studio. Like you could look at this and think that any of the big hitters put this together, but it's so sorry, audio listeners, you're missing out. But if you're watching the video version of this discussion, it is breathtaking. Like it starts off, you walk through some lush fields, you have this view of I suppose a desolated castle in the distance, the shadows, the sunlight. It's just like visually what a treat. And I'm just floored that it looks this good.
It is I cannot, massive step up from the first game.
But like the first game looked good already.
First game still looked good. Yeah. So for this to be so much higher, it is only on current gen consoles. So I get that now. Wow. Yeah, I get that now. Yeah, this would never fly on older consoles. And I also understand now the fairly high PC requirements that this came out, because I remember when they came out, people were like, oh, that seems a bit strange. Like they quite high, yeah. But yeah, it's packed with detail. I think like all the little rocks on the gravel paths that you walk past, or the small little flowers on the fields that you run past, it looks very good.
It's
and then
detailed,
as it's so like serene and beautiful, the game like quickly hard cuts into like, okay, cool, yeah, here's the depressing like fucking murder and death that you're used to from the first game.
Yeah, I think that's one thing that stood out for me when playing the first game. I actually knew very little about it, other than like it's a brother and a sister. There's a rat problem wherever they are.
There's a rat problem. Yeah, the rat just murders a dog in the first like 10 minutes of that game.
That game was a lot darker than I expected it to be. Like, I think we've mentioned it, even I've spoken to about it. The one of the most iconic moments is you start one level on a battlefield and you just walk over thousands of corpses. It's quite like, holy shit, like this is hardcore.
Really drives home like what is happening in this kingdom around
you. And then it is funny because this game starts out, innocent enough. It's set, I think, but I'm going to thumbsuck and say maybe 6 months after the first game ended. It's not too far, not too long after.
Did they actually specify?
I don't think they specify, but I think it's shortly after, because Hugo looks like slightly older.
Yeah, he looks almost identical, and Amicia doesn't look much older. So
yeah, but I love how they start off the game of like, oh hey, this is a tutorial dressed up as if Amicia and Hugo are playing with Lucas. It's fun hide and seek and whatever, and then hard cut 10 minutes later to like, oh my god, like shit's going down.
What the fuck happened?
Here.
Yeah,
what the hell is going on? And I suppose the setting for this game, from what we've at least seen in our 1 hour playthroughs, that Hugo's powers, spoiler if you haven't played the first game, the rats are a Hugo thing. The family's got a curse / ability that lets them control the rats. that ability has reawoken amidst whatever the hell's going on in this opening castle, because I still don't know what's going on here. And I suppose the idea is to see how that plays out. What is going to happen to him? What is going to happen to
who are these new antagonists?
This poor innocent town.
Why are they wearing basket lids on their faces and talking about bees?
But
I am. Is it going to be the rats versus the bees at the end? Like, what's going on?
I don't know. I'm very, very excited to sink my teeth into this game. But I'm also interested to see how they handle gameplay, because for all intents and purposes, the first game was, oh no, you've got to survive the rats, to you get to control the rats. How do they evolve that? Like, I'm pretty sure it'll be a similar thing, but I'm keen to see what differences.
Because that was a really cool moment in the first game where it kind of, like, in the final third, it flipped the game on its head. It was like, cool, now the rats are with you, and you no longer have to worry about enemies. They need to worry about you. And it was a nice reversal of power trick that they can't just redo that here. No. Like, it's got to be smarter, I think. So, I have given a read to some thoughts on this game, and a lot of people seem to think that it's very good, but at the same time quite safe, which honestly, for a studio of this size and a publisher of this size, is entirely okay. I think that is the good bet to make, is people like that first game. Let's do a sequel that is very much what they expect, but what they will enjoy. And that's A-okay with me. I'm super keen on that.
Put all the budget into the visual department.
Yeah, they fucking did. Clearly, my goodness, it's so beautiful.
Yeah, the last thing I will say about this game before we move on is that, so we're both playing on PC. There's something. Oh, you playing on Xbox? Sorry. So you could probably comment from your point of view, but I think we're having similar. It's not really a problem, but visually the game looks great, but it's not playing at a locked frame rate. So every now and then, like, you're probably getting dips to, let's say, like 50 to 55 frames per second, which isn't the worst thing, but it is noticeable. And I wonder if that's not an optimization thing, or, if
so
that's
you don't
fix, or
on consoles you don't get an option. You just have one performance mode, and it's like an unlocked frame rate, so it's not a stable 60 or a stable 30. And I don't know what is going on, but even connected to like a TV that does, VRRs, which is meant to smooth out all the frame rate, little hitches and dips, there's something strange happening with how some animations play out. They just look jittery.
Yeah.
And it's quite noticeable, I think, and it's quite distracting.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's like a game breaking or a problem, but it is enough to like kind of yank me out of the moment, when I'm like, oh, what the fuck just happened there,
Yeah.
So I kind of wish there was an option on console to just lock this thing to 30. Like, I would be fine with that, because that would probably solve a lot of the problems.
Yeah.
But it's just something to be aware of. I guess.
To be clear, not game breaking, but just worth pointing out. I feel it's something that might over time be fixed. Maybe they will add that on console,
probably.
But
probably. It's been a weird week of discussions about performance modes and stuff like that. So, I mean, Gotham Knights was only 30 frames per second and refused to have a performance mode, and the sort of reasoning given by the developer didn't really make sense. This game, for all intents and purposes, only has a performance mode, but it's unstable. So it's like, maybe give people an option if you can. Apparently, Boy Simulator has many options, so that's great.
Nice. All that said, Plague Tale starts off strong. Plague Tale Requiem,
very keen to keep playing.
Yeah, very keen to keep playing that somehow between all the other nonsense.
Pretty amazing that it's on Game Pass. I think it's that is quite a big win for Game Pass.
Reason number 4,300,000
is a bit of a bummer if you haven't played the first one. That got removed from Game Pass, so sorry. At least that one should be the cheaper one now to buy.
I'm pretty sure it's in the $10 to $20 camp now, maybe even $30.
And this game will be on there for quite a while. I mean, I think it's only Rockstar that has taken games off after like 3 months. In general, they stay on for like 6 months to a year. Yeah. So you have time to catch up on the first one. You don't have to worry about this one disappearing super quickly. if it does disappear next month, it's not my fault. Just putting that out there.
Don't hold us to it, please.
I don't make the rules. Phil Spencer doesn't
Phil
listen
Spencer
to me.
makes the rules, not
Phil Spencer makes the rules. If he wants to yank it off, that's his prerogative.
I like to imagine that he's the dude in a meeting room. They say, Phil, how long should we keep this game? And he goes, 6 months.
Yeah, 6 months.
1 year. 1 year. Cool.
I didn't like that game so much. You can take it off
3
tomorrow.
Yeah. Plague Tale. Play it on Plague Tale Requiem. Play it on Game Pass. It's real good, real pretty.
It's good. Yeah, it's good.